Hi, my name is Andrew and I'm one of the makers of Tadpole Tales, and welcome to Pinni and the Lost Voice Devlog, a series about a cute 2D hand-drawn platformer about a tiny dog in a curious dreamland where the sun and the moon have stopped moving. Today's devlog will be a super duper special one, as I will not be the one presenting, but my dear friend Giacomo will be presenting it, and he will be showing you all of his pre-production process to creating concept art, research, as well as mood boarding. So let's begin.
Hey everyone, Giacomo here. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you. Thank you so much for all the incredible support we received so far, from the first devlogs about Tadpole Tales to the release of the game, and now the beginning of this new and exciting game dev journey. It might sound a bit cliché, but we are grateful for your feedback and enthusiasm. They're a major push for us to work on our game. Anyway, today I would like to talk about the pre-production process I've been going through for our game so far. Andrew and I thought it could be interesting to discuss the references and take into account for this project, and show some early sketches too. But before we start, I have a tiny announcement to make. The Steam page of our game, Pinni and the Lost Voice, is now open. It would mean the world to us if you would take a look, and maybe wishlist the game as well. So with that said, let's talk about the first step of pre-production. We started with the idea of making something small in size, because we needed precise boundaries regarding the scope of the game, and we eventually came up with the concept of a tiny world. We spent some time thinking, what could make this world feel unique? And as mentioned by Andrew in the previous devlogs, this became the idea that the day and night cycle stopped, and as a result, each area of this place is now stuck in a particular time zone. This made the process of discussing key locations a bit easier, because we knew we wanted something interesting located in the four cardinal directions of this tiny planet. Especially in the north, which not only is where the sun is stuck in place, but is also the starting point of the game, and needed to be a very distinctive location compared to anywhere else. This ended up becoming the Hill Village, a small town built up on a hill and inhabited by quirky animal characters, that serves as the main hub and puts more flavor into the narrative of the game too.
Hello? Oh dear! Ah! I'm getting out of here.
So, the main hub area is supposed to be this small village up on a hill, right? I thought it could be pretty useful visiting real-life places located on hills in order to gather more references. I realized that pretty close to Rome, the city where I was born, in the Lazio region, there are plenty of small towns that fit this category very well. Some of them are ghost towns, which means they're still preserved as they used to be decades ago. This was a great opportunity to see new places and get inspired. As a result, I went on a series of trips, filming and taking pictures of anything I found interesting. Probably the best example of a town on a hill I could ever find is Civita di Bagnoregio. I mean, this speaks for itself. Apart from its location, the town itself is delightful, full of great references for houses, plants and tiny details. They make this place very memorable in my opinion. Another great reference is Celleno, a very small town, abandoned after an earthquake in the 30s. It was a very interesting place to visit, because you can take a look inside the buildings and see what places like homes, bakeries or cobbler shops used to look like in the past. Oh, and also you get a very nice view from there. Then there are Sutri and Ronciglione. The former is a town with a lovely main plaza and full of great references for houses and interesting street details. The old town area of Ronciglione instead seems to be the most ancient one I visited, feeling like a proper village back from medieval times. In addition to these and some other towns, I also took a nice walk around the Caffarella Park in Rome, which is this huge area that feels more like open countryside than a proper park. It was great to see these rural sceneries and get inspired from them, despite not being too far from home, actually. Apart from a trip around the Lazio region, another part of the whole process was gathering any visual reference I could find interesting across the internet. I collected many photos and artworks from websites such as Pinterest and ArtStation and categorized them. Of course, another source of inspiration comes from games, such as Yoshi's Island. This is a big one for me, and not only for the visual style, but for the game feel this title offers. A carefree, childlike and joyful adventure across colorful levels, full of interesting things to see around every corner. Other primary sources of inspiration are Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap and Wario Land the Shake Dimension. These two made me think how cool it would be to make a 2D game based on frame-by-frame animations. Some other quick examples are Super Mario Sunshine for the buildings that can be seen in Delfino Plaza, the Donkey Kong Country series, in which you don't jump on floating blocks, but every platform is organically integrated in the background. The Mario & Luigi series, for the stylization of the environments and the quirky character designs of the enemies. Boy for the stunning backgrounds and attention to detail. And Clonador to Phantom Isle, for its environments, the characters, but also for the way a story is integrated in a platform game. But I think I'm forgetting about a certain game though. After all this, it was time to put all my efforts in good use by making mood boards, which are a thematic collage of all the most useful references I managed to find. Mood boards are super useful to get a better idea of the visual direction you want to take for your project. And they are all about placing a selection of images on a canvas and connecting them by their colors, shapes, or mood, and so on. Surely, having all images available in one place is much better than scrolling through folders full of those. I ended up making many of these for different aspects of the game, from mood boards for the different parts of the scenery and time of the day, featuring the images I liked the most, to specific mood boards for buildings, doors, details, and plans, containing a selection of the pictures I took during my trips. And now, after spending countless hours looking for pictures and references, clocking up my miles around Lazio, and getting more and more desperate, realizing that I will have to draw a lot of stuff for this game, it's finally time to get started with sketches and doodles to better visualize what this game could actually look like. As regards the main hub, Hill Village, the first sketch I made was a quick one, made to get a good idea of the size of everything. Then I made a mockup test, inserting more elements from the places I visited, like windows, doors, plants. Even if I was still not entirely satisfied with it, I used this sketch as a base for the layout of the entire Hill Village, as you can see here. I'm still exploring ideas for the look of these buildings, since I would like to give them a bit more cartoonish proportions. For the entrance to the village, I wanted to make it look interesting, and as a result I added those statues, based on the Great Rooster, to clearly show how strong the bond between the Goldie Bird and the village inhabitants is. I put some flowers there because, well, I thought they fit the day and night cycle theme pretty well. Here's an early sketch of a grass field area outside Hill Village, that I eventually turned into a mockup test. After making these, I realized that it could be interesting to try something different from the typical green grass and trees to make the levels a bit more memorable. That's why I started experimenting with this yellow grass, which reminds me of summertime, when it doesn't rain that often and the grass turns into this color. I made different sketches following this idea, in which I tried to integrate different background elements. Based on all these, I made this mockup that shows what the final game could actually look like. I also made sketches for a cave, in which the ground and the platforms are highlighted by a trail of shiny stones and minerals, a cloud zone, in which you can see the world of Pinni from up in the sky, a rocky area with a house shaped like a glass container, and the top of this mountain with a certain character that doesn't seem to be too friendly. Something you may have noticed is that Pinni is now blue. Yeah, As you can see from this older version of the image, it was getting a bit tricky to make the character stand out, and I felt the greyish palette was a bit dull, considering he's the protagonist after all. This is why I tried turning the color of his fur into something a bit more distinctive, but in such a way doesn't give the feeling Pinni has been exposed to a higher level of radiation or something like that. Everything I showed here is still work in progress, which, of course, means that it may change in appearance quite drastically in the future. But, well, the main purpose of pre-production is to try different approaches and see what sticks, isn't it? This is all I had to show this time. We're posting these images, test animations, and much more on the Instagram account of Pinnacle Studio. So if you're curious, feel free to check that out and follow our journey. Also, if you have any other reference that could be useful in mind, either from a game or anything else, let us know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek in my workflow. Let me know if you would like to see more. Thank you for watching, and I will pass the mic to Andrew. Arrivederci!
Thank you, Giacomo. And honestly, I'm so happy that Giacomo decided to do this, as he's usually quite shy about sharing his work. So big shout out to him for being so open. Now we're at the end of the segment, and you know what time it is. So tell me, which plant of Pinni's house looks better? A or B? Let us know on our Discord, as that will be the one deciding the end result for the game. I hope you enjoyed this month's devlog as much as I did, and we have finally released our Steam page, just like Giacomo said, so it would really mean the world to us if you could give us a wish list. But with that being said, I hope you have a great Christmas and New Year's, and have a wonderful day. Alright, take care guys, bye bye.